Hello, my name's Byrne. I've been fostering since the beginning of 2012. I applied in April to become a foster carer, and the selection process took about 9 months. What I got out of the recruitment process was an understanding of how difficult fostering can be, but also how rewarding. When you're being assessed, it's quite challenging. You have 9 months of questioning, and sometimes it brings up a lot of issues from your past. Even people who've lived fairly sort of straightforward and mundane lives like I have, without very much trauma, you still can bring lots of sort of uncomfortable feelings to the fore. It's good for you to be challenged in this way. It makes you realise what sort of task you're taking on. The social workers are coming from a perspective of knowing what the job involves. It's important that they get to ask the right sorts of questions to ascertain whether you're really up to the job. The assessment process actually helps you to be prepared to become a foster carer. What this gives you is the confidence that you are actually up to the task of being a foster carer, validation of your beliefs, where you stand on issues relating to children and their well-being, safeguarding and so on. One of the things that you realise when you are going through the assessment process is that social workers have a whole set of jargon that at first may be very strange and you may not be used to. So the assessment process actually helps you to become used to that terminology. Some parts of the assessment can be difficult. You may be dealing with intrusive questions, bringing up areas of your past that you may have thought you'd dealt with and were over. So it can be quite a difficult and challenging time. There are also some parts of the process that to normal everyday folk seem very strange, and quite often you might think that you don't really know what's going on. If you're not sure, the best thing to do is to ask. When I was going through the process, I wish that I'd have asked a few more questions. After all, no question is a silly question. Some people might be put off by the length of the process. It took 9 months for me to go through from start to finish, and I thought at the time that that was quite a long process. On reflection, that's exactly what it does allow you. Time for reflection, to think about things that are important to you, what sorts of messages you want to give about the type of person that you are and the type of environment that you can offer to a young person who needs care. Quite often you might not realise what's going on in the background. Foster care is a very complex and complicated activity. Then you'll also realise that when you apply to be a foster carer, it's like applying to do every job in a company, and that takes some time. Not only do you have to take care of the physical and emotional well-being of the child, but what I've discovered is that you need to be a confidant, a taxi driver, you need to be the HR person, you need to actually be able to negotiate. Excellent negotiating skills are a must, especially with a truculent 8-year-old, and also deal with other members of the profession, schools, doctors. After all, you're the child's advocate and you're going to be there fighting that child's corner every step of the way. If you are thinking about applying to be a foster carer and the length of time that it seems to be taking, my advice is to stick with it. It is worth it. It might not seem so at the time, but trust me, it's worth going through, and the result at the end is well worth all the wait.